great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career.
Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball.
Another forever moment for this transformational superstar.
Did you see what JuJu Watkins had to say about Caitlin Clark? The basketball world is buzzing, and the WNBA's usual suspects are scrambling to keep their composure. Imagine this: a 19-year-old college player showing more class, respect, and leadership than veterans who've been in the league for years. Watkins just dropped some truth, and it's shaking up a league that clearly needs a wake-up call. And guess what? Angel Reese is not taking it lightly that Watkins is defending Caitlin Clark.
After spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine.
Let's set the stage. The WNBA is looking more like a drama series these days, and Angel Reese is trying to make herself the star. Case in point, the over-the-top frenzy surrounding her Vogue cover. You'd think she reinvented the game with the way they're celebrating it.
Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just snagged Time's Athlete of the Year, one of the most prestigious awards in all of sports, and the league barely blinked. It's almost comical. Clark's achievements are towering, but it's like the WNBA has decided to focus on the wrong highlight reel.
What would you say was the greater accomplishment? The cover of Vogue magazine or Athlete of the Year? Without a doubt, Athlete of the Year is the far greater honor. So I am incredibly confused with the difference in response to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Let's be honest for a second. Vogue? Sure, it's a milestone in pop culture, but it's hardly the pinnacle of achievement. Meanwhile, Time's Athlete of the Year is a global honor that places Clark in the same league as icons like LeBron James and Simone Biles, athletes who have redefined their sports. The difference here is monumental. One recognition celebrates true greatness, while the other offers a fleeting moment in the spotlight. Reese's cover might be trendy, but Clark's award cements her legacy.
You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine? Not Female Athlete of the Year. I'm talking about Athlete of the Year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr.
And here's the twist. The WNBA can't seem to get its priorities straight. They're pushing Reese's Vogue moment as if it's the most important thing to happen to the league in years. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's historic achievements are treated like an afterthought. It's almost embarrassing to watch how they're spinning the narrative. And JuJu Watkins is not having any of it.
All kidding aside, I am happy for Angel Reese. Judging by some of her comments, Angel Reese dreams of being a fashion icon, which makes sense. I mean, seriously. What child grows up with dreams of becoming a dump diver in the WNBA? What child grows up with dreams of playing pretend basketball in empty high school gym?
What we're witnessing isn't just a contrast in achievements. It's a case study in how the WNBA chooses to focus its attention. Caitlin Clark is out here elevating the game to unprecedented heights, proving that women's basketball belongs on the global stage. Angel Reese? She's busy collecting compliments for herself. The difference couldn't be clearer. When it comes to Caitlin Clark's latest jaw-dropping achievements, the WNBA's reaction has been silence. It's almost as if they're terrified of what Clark represents. This isn't just any player we're talking about. Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, a game-changer who's rewriting the rules of women's basketball. Instead of celebrating her like the superstar she is, the league is acting like she doesn't even exist. It's absurd.
Although I am happy for Angel Reese for achieving her lifelong dream of landing the cover of Vogue magazine and being viewed as a fashion icon, I thought the celebration from the media was a bit strange. Some might even call it hypocritical.
So how did the WNBA respond to Clark being named Time's Athlete of the Year? Oh, you're going to love this. Instead of rolling out the red carpet or even offering a simple congratulatory tweet, they chose to ghost her. That's right, crickets. It's like they've entered some alternate reality where Clark's monumental success doesn't even register. But here's where things get really interesting. While the WNBA is busy pretending Clark's not carrying the league on her back, the rest of the sports world has taken notice. Clark isn't just being compared to her peers in women's basketball anymore. She's being mentioned alongside the biggest names in all of sports. That's a big deal, folks. And yet, the WNBA seems determined to treat her like an afterthought.
Angel Reese was celebrated for landing the cover of some magazine that no one reads anymore, while Caitlin Clark, she was vilified.
You'd think the league would be thrilled about having a superstar who's single-handedly packing arenas. We're talking about sold-out games everywhere she goes. Meanwhile, most WNBA games struggle to fill seats. The contrast is staggering. But instead of leveraging Clark's star power, the league's acting like her success is a problem to be managed, not a triumph to be celebrated.
This is how Caitlin Clark was treated by jealous players who directly benefit from her star power. It's also how she was treated by those in the media who also benefit from the drawing power of Caitlin Clark.
What's really going on here? It's almost like the WNBA is scared of success, especially when it comes in the form of Caitlin Clark. She's drawing crowds and breaking records, but instead of riding the wave, the league seems intent on pretending it's not happening. It's a bizarre case of self-sabotage.
Caitlin Clark was pressured by the media to share her honor with unknown and undeserving WNBA players who contributed absolutely nothing to the elevation of the league last season.
And here's the twist. While the WNBA continues to fumble the bag, other players are stepping up and giving Clark the respect she deserves. Enter JuJu Watkins, the 19-year-old phenom who's wise beyond her years. Watkins openly praised Clark's influence, showing more maturity than the entire WNBA combined. Imagine that. A teenager recognizing greatness while the league itself refuses to.
I have been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support.
Clark isn't just a star, she's a movement. She's transcending the sport, competing with the biggest names across all of athletics. But instead of celebrating her, the WNBA is acting like her rise is something to fear. It's laughable, really. And as the league continues its awkward dance around Clark's success, Watkins is over here dropping truth bombs that have everyone talking.
But after reading her recent interview with Fox News, JuJu Watkins, she has earned some of my respect. After reading this interview with Fox News, it became abundantly clear that JuJu Watkins, she gets it.
So what's the WNBA's endgame here? Are they seriously hoping Clark's influence will just fade away? Spoiler alert, that's not happening. She's bringing unprecedented attention to women's basketball, and their response is radio silence. Meanwhile, players like Watkins are proving that the next generation of athletes gets it. They see the bigger picture.
Fox asked her about the influx of attention that Caitlin Clark brought to women's basketball. Here is what JuJu Watkins said. So many new fans in the sport can sometimes be a headache. Not everyone knows what they're talking about, but it's great for the sport. The fact that people are watching is enough in itself. We would like it to be positive, but it's not always going to be like that. As long as we continue to raise the numbers and viewership goes up, I think that's all we can ask for.
JuJu Watkins isn't just excelling on the court. She's showing the league how to embrace success. At just 19, she's already doing what the WNBA should have done ages ago, giving Caitlin Clark the recognition she deserves and proving that women's basketball deserves to be on the world stage. It's almost poetic. While the WNBA fumbles, it's the youngest voices who are stepping up to lead the way.
During the interview, JuJu Watkins was asked about negative fans, or as Angel Reese would call them, the haters. This would be the point of the interview where Angel Reese would clap back at the haters. What does JuJu Watkins do? She basically tells Fox News that she obviously wants fans to like her, but if they end up being against her, that's okay too, because at least they're watching.
While some veteran players can't stop complaining about how new fans engage with the game, JuJu Watkins is rewriting the narrative. She isn't just tolerating the influx of attention, She's embracing it wholeheartedly. Imagine that. A player who actually sees value in every fan, even the critical ones. Watkins is welcoming all comers, knowing that every pair of eyes on the game matters. In a league where some players seem stuck in the past, she's proving she's operating on an entirely different level.
Notice the clear difference in her mentality compared to the jealous players in the WNBA.
Why is this mindset so revolutionary? It's because Watkins understands something so many others in the WNBA haven't figured out. All attention, whether positive or negative, fuels the growth of women's basketball. Every tweet, every social media debate, every skeptical viewer tuning in contributes to the sport's rising profile. Watkins isn't threatened by criticism. She sees it as proof that people care enough to engage. While others in the league are gatekeeping, she's building bridges.
Like I said earlier, this young lady gets it. She understands the business of entertainment. Sometimes the people that hate you are the best fans. Why? Because they're the most passionate. They're the ones watching every game.
And Watkins isn't just talking a good game, she's living it. At just 19 years old, she's already showing a level of maturity that some seasoned veterans could learn from. Watkins gets it. The future of women's basketball depends on welcoming all fans, not just those who blindly cheer. She knows that even criticism is a sign of passion, and passion is what will drive the sport forward. It's a perspective that's as refreshing as it is rare.
Before Caitlin Clark, there was no such thing as crowds in the WNBA, unless you were talking about the rats in the rafters. For the past 3 decades, if you were one of the dozens of people who watched the WNBA on ESPN, you could hear the janitor sweeping the bleachers. That's how quiet it was in these high school gyms.
What's even more remarkable is how Watkins has outpaced players with far more experience in understanding fan engagement. While some veterans waste time lecturing fans on respect, Watkins is saying, bring it on. She knows that every conversation, good or bad, creates buzz. And buzz draws more fans to the game. Watkins isn't just a player, she's a strategist. Someone who understands that the way forward isn't through exclusion, but through inclusion.
This is how Caitlin Clark was treated by her colleagues and their pretend friends in the mainstream media. Watch it for yourself.
And I'm of the belief that she is now one of the top 15 players available. Even if Taurasi or whoever would not be there, there would be a couple of people like Enrique who you could put above Caitlin Clark. The problem here is, and what concerns me going forward, is those people on the fringe that do exist, that are in real life, not just internet trolls, politicians, pundits, and people of the like who are using Caitlin Clark as an avatar to lash out at the people who they have disdain for, mainly the makeup of the WNBA, black women et al.
Who are these girls? Who are these girls that are hating on Caitlin Clark? Are you just combing through Twitter? What else are these women supposed to do? We are not every single game gonna revisit and retread this same tired ass rhetoric that all these girls are hating on her, and they need to be thankful.
You have to build a WNBA team. Who are you taking first?
Second page. Next question.
So if you had the #1 pick this year, you would take Paige over Caitlin?
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, the WNBA itself seems to be fumbling the opportunity of a lifetime. With stars like Caitlin Clark and JuJu Watkins bringing unprecedented energy and excitement to the league, you'd think the organization would be rolling out the red carpet. Instead, they're clinging to outdated strategies and failing to adapt to a rapidly changing landscape. While Clark's games are selling out arenas across the country, many WNBA games can't even fill half the seats. It's a missed opportunity that speaks volumes about the league's inability to recognize and harness its stars.
Anyway, I showed that final clip of Donna Taurasi because I want you to see the difference in mentality. I believe Donna is my age. She's in her late 30s. Hell, Donna might be 40 years old at this point. JuJu Watkins is 19 years old.
Look at the numbers if you need proof. Women's basketball viewership has surged 155%, and WNBA attendance has climbed by almost 50% compared to prior year. These are massive gains, yet the league seems reluctant to capitalize on them. Instead of amplifying the voices of game changers like Clark and Watkins, they're focused on tired narratives that don't resonate with today's audience. It's like they're willfully ignoring the players who are driving this surge in popularity.
Donna Taurasi is old enough to be JuJu Watkins' mother, and yet somehow a teenager is showing more appreciation for the elevation of women's basketball than someone who has spent their entire career playing in front of empty arenas.
The truth is, the WNBA doesn't have time to play it safe. Either they embrace the new wave of talent represented by Clark and Watkins, or they risk fading into irrelevance. These two aren't just extraordinary athletes, they're cultural forces, the kind of players who can carry women's basketball into uncharted territory. Their ability to captivate audiences, both on and off the court, is exactly what the league needs to secure its future.
The media can claim all they want that WNBA players support Caitlin Clark. They don't. The media can claim all they want WNBA players are not jealous of Caitlin Clark. They are. If you're a fan of the WNBA, you should hope that players adopt the mentality of JuJu Watkins, because there's only so many times that you can tell a fan base that they're racist. There's only so many times you can tell a fan base they're misogynist. There's only so many times you can give people reasons not to watch your product. Eventually, they will listen.
This isn't just about survival, it's about transformation. Clark and Watkins represent a bold, new era for women's basketball, an era defined by excellence, excitement, and innovation. Meanwhile, the WNBA's old guard seems determined to hold the sport back, clinging to traditions that no longer serve its audience. It's like they're standing in the way of progress, blocking the stars who are ready to take the sport to new heights.
Give me your thoughts on this. JuJu Watkins shows a maturity and an understanding that we didn't see in the WNBA last season. Veteran players should be taking notes. That's how you handle the media. That's how you handle your cash cow. You don't deplete the milk, you give the cow vitamins for growth.
If the WNBA wants to maintain its upward trajectory, it needs to act now. Fans have made it clear that they're hungry for a league that embraces change, celebrates its stars, and prioritizes growth. Watkins and Clark are showing exactly what the future can look like, but the league needs to meet them halfway. It's time to let go of the past and embrace the possibilities of the future. So, what's next for women's basketball? The potential is enormous, but the WNBA must stop sabotaging its own progress. Players like Watkins and Clark are ready to lead the charge, but the league has to be willing to follow. The time for hesitation is over. The fans are here, the momentum is real, and the future is bright. It's time for the WNBA to recognize the stars who are lighting the path forward and fully commit to the exciting new chapter they represent. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.